Now last year I showed you how to make these 3-foot giant snowflakes out of some dollar store coat hangers, some zip ties, a little bit of hot glue. Now what goes along with 3-foot giant snowflakes? 3-foot giant candy canes. Now in this video I'm going to show you how I made these. The next few parts of this video is a sped up process of an overview of how I made these. So maybe you can try them out, decorate them in your yard with them. So let's get started. Since I wanted to make a bunch of these candy canes, I decided I was going to make a form so they all be a little more uniform in size. So what I did, I had this old 5-gallon bucket that was seen its better days. And what I did is I got an 80-pound bag of concrete and mixed about half of the bag of concrete up. Now I probably could have used the full bag and gave the form some more weight, but this served its purpose. Now here I have some 1¼ thin wall PVC. This is not Schedule 40, it's thin wall. It's thinner than Schedule 40 PVC. Now what I did, I was going to take some play sand and fill the pipe up with play sand. I used this drink bottle here and it made a great funnel to be able to get the sand down in the pipe. I took some duct tape and taped off the bottom of the pipe while I was filling it up. Now here's a couple days later, the concrete had dried and I took a Dremel tool and actually cut the bucket apart. This took a little bit of time, a little bit of safety precautions because you've got plastic, and if your drill tool catches that concrete, it could, jump around, but just be careful with that. And here you can see I'm just trying to make a line down the side, and then once I broke that free, I actually set it down in the ground with that rebar and cut the bottom of it off, and that seemed to just pop it right off. Now they do make some concrete release agents you could spray the bucket with where it would come out a little bit easier, but I wasn't going to spend the money on it for just something trivial like this. You can see I'm taking the Dremel tool, going around the base of it, cutting it off. And once I did that, it came off a little bit easier that way. So, and there you can see the form. It's not perfect, but it's a good round surface that I could use for bending the tops of the candy canes. Now here you see I have a cobalt heat gun, and what I did is once the form was made, I took the heat gun. You can see I have two pieces of rebar, one on the form itself that gives me a handle, and then one actually in the ground that will hold the rebar. And I got the heat gun to about 450 to 500 degrees and just bent it and took my time heating the pipe up. The purpose of the form also was to make sure it didn't have any kinks in it. Well, the sand was supposed to help with that too, and I don't believe I had enough sand in the pipe. I filled it up, but not completely. So I suggest trying it with a full pipe of sand, I guess you'd say. But you can see I'm just heating it up real slowly and evenly. It's about 450, 500 degrees, like I said. And just take your time with it. And then once it gets to where you want it to be at, just hold it in place for a little bit. Let the pipe cool down. Let the sand cool down. And it'll harden up to the form you want it to be at. This whole process here took about probably 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes. I took my time with it. I wasn't in no hurry, But get you a good heat gun. The ones from Harbor Freight, you can get for like 15, 20 bucks. They work good, but I had one, and probably the third or fourth time I used it, it started smoking. So that was the last time I used it. I threw it directly into the trash. You can get you a good heat gun from Lowe's for probably 30, 40 bucks, and you'll use it more than you think you will. This one here has a digital display on it. I actually got a good deal on it, but you don't have to have something that fancy. Here you can see I'm just about done with the form. Just give it a little more heat to it. Make sure it stays where I want it to be at. And here I'm pulling it off. You can tell right there towards the top, there's some kinks in it. And, I thought that was going to be an issue, but once I get all the lights around it, you'll never see those kinks on it. Now here's the lights I used. They're a 50 count LED mini strands from Walmart. I think they're like $3 or $4. I use a strand of each. I think I'm going to go back and actually use 2 strands of each. You can give a little more depth and perception of the stripes of the candy canes. And here we are with the finished product. Now, what I didn't show you in the last part of the video is how I wrap them. Now I'll start at the bottom with the red, and I put about 7 or 8 stripes. Now on the back side, I got a mark right in there. That's about 7.5 inches. So about every 7.5 inches I made a mark, and that's how big my stripes are going to be pretty much all the way around. Now the top, you're going to have to be a little bit creative with it because the compression of the arch. Now this is the back side we're looking at. There's the front side where my hand's at. You're going to be looking at it this way. Now once the red was done and the white started, what I did is I drilled a 7/32 hole. And what that does is allows me to put the lights in the back of it. That keeps the lights from being shown from the front. So you won't have a white stripe with a bunch of mixed in red here and there. And it's not going to show coming through the pipe. The 7/32 or 1/4 inch hole is not too tight and it's not too loose. So just keep them good and tight. Now also what this hole allows me to do is keeps these strands tight. So once I start this line here, it's going to keep it tight all the way up. And then once I get to the top, and I put another one in, it's going to keep this whole section tight. So then I don't have to use so much tape or electrical tape or duct tape. But if you do try to go with duct tape, go with a outdoor or heavy duty tape. The regular duct tape, it won't last very long in the heat or the summer or the winter or the cold. The outdoor tape just does a little bit better. Now once I got to the end of the run, here is the female end of the white strand. Once I made my final loop, I ran it back up and I took the twist tie that came with the lights and just twist tied it back to one of the strands. That keeps everything from falling and sagging down. Now these ended up costing me maybe about $25 to $30 for the pair of them. Looking online, you can find some similar that cost you $50-$60 plus shipping. So you're looking, let's just say $60 to $70 after shipping and taxes and everything. Now this cost me about $25-$30 at the most. Your pipe cost me about $5. Concrete was about $5, and the light strands were $3.50. And I used 2, 4, 6, 8. I used 8 of them. So that's about $24. So about $30-$35 total investment on this whole thing. Now they're not uniform, they're not perfect. There's kinks and stuff in the tops of them. But once it gets dark out and the lights are on, you'll never see the kinks. You'll never see the big imperfections or the small imperfections. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be functional. But anyways, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.